What's up guys, I'm Robin and I make stuff, and today I have a massive migraine. We're gonna paint anyways. We're gonna let the watercolor paint itself, dropping paint into water and seeing what will happen. And there's something really soothing and therapeutic about that. I don't even feel like I can keep my eyes open today. I also want to talk about the ratio of paint to water, water to paint, how you get those really nice, deep, saturated colors. So lately I've been using a pad of Hahnemühle paper just for these little quick studies. It's great for anyone who is really hung up on painting on nice expensive paper. These small pads, less commitment, much smaller surface area to cover. By the end of it, you're gonna have a notebook full of your progress from start to finish. As always, if you find this information valuable or you just like hanging out with me and listening to the sound of my voice, I love that for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It helps get that out there for more people who might be interested in learning how to paint what we're painting. Let's just start painting already. The tea, milk, and honey concept is something that I've seen and it made a lot of sense to me, so I want to share it with you. It simply refers to the consistency of your paint when you're mixing it on your palette. So when you want something really light, tea. If you want something really rich and opaque, honey. So let's think about tea for a second. If we were to put some tea in some water, it's going to be pretty translucent versus milk. Milk is going to be a lot thicker. Now you can see through that really well. Now if we want to make it a little bit thicker like milk, I'm going to use a little bit more paint in here. It's still pretty watered down. So maybe this is more of like a skim milk than a whole milk. Now when you think about honey, it's really thick. It's not very watered down. I want to go with more paint, less water. There's not a lot of water right here in this corner. This is really soupy over here. Just trying to get as much paint on my brush as I can. If it's really dry paint, you might have to work that a little bit. So let's put that in here as my honey. You can see a difference between all three of those. Practice making tea, practice making milk, and practice making honey. How much water you have to paint is important. I'm just going to start by putting some water down in the center of my paper here. I'm going to start dropping paint into that, and we're just going to see what happens by letting it paint itself. Don't want to overwork it. I just want to drop the paint in. Kind of just getting the water everywhere in the center of this paper. I'll just use some ultramarine blue for this. So I'm gonna just drop this in. Oh, cool. Yes, this is exactly what I want to have happen. So the water is moving the paint around. I'm not moving my brush. I'm just dropping it into the water, just tapping the tip of my brush. It has a lot of paint on there. Very similar to that honey consistency. Just kind of going along the bottom of where I put that water. I don't want to do anything super controlled, and drop some green in here and just kind of see, cool. Yeah, this is exactly what I want to have happen. And you can use any colors you want. If you're more of a brown person, orange, yellow, this should be really fun, and just practice. We're not doing anything super serious. We're just allowing the watercolor to paint itself. Super cool. Yes. So over here, obviously I don't have any water, so it's kind of hitting that area, and I can, paint it over just a little bit and just kind of play with it and see what happens. Now I'm going to come along the bottom and just with a wet brush. Oh, yes. Awesome. I'm going to tap along the bottom of where I have this paint, and that water is going to suck this paint up into it, or I should say down into it. It's just fun to see what happens. So everywhere that I connect the tip of my brush to what's already been painted, with that clean water, it's going to pull that paint into it. So essentially this could be like a reflection, some really cool stuff happening with this green. It kind of looks like a tree off in the distance. Maybe it's kind of foggy, but I really love the softness if I just let the watercolor do what it's going to do in that water. The real challenge is to not overwork it, resist the urge. It is so challenging. I'm just gonna kind of move this around a little bit just so it doesn't have this sharp edge. I'm putting some water onto the paper just to kind of help see what it will do. Again, just kind of tapping. I'm not doing a lot of sweeping motions here. So now I'm just gonna let it dry. We have this whole empty area at the top, and a lot of times I tell my students, Once the paper is fully dry, you can come back and put water on top of it. You don't want to overwork what you've already put on there, and be really gentle with putting the water on there because you can move around that paint. But if we want to fill an area or don't feel like we've gotten it dark enough or colored enough, we can come put that water back in there. You want to make sure that the paper is really fully dry and all that paint is fully dry. Very light. Again, I don't want to overwork this area or scrub it back and forth too much because I might lift that color out. And then I'm going to do maybe some oranges up here in the sky, and I'll leave some areas intentionally white and let it just sort of soften itself. And I'm just going to drop some color in here. This is really bright, but it should soften up and lighten up a little bit. I'm going to put some yellows. You can see that that yellow pushed the orange, and that's because there was a lot more water on my brush and it's doing some funky stuff in here. I'm trying really hard to resist the urge to manipulate it, but okay, it's kind of doing this little weird trail thing down. I'm not sure that I love that. Everything's fine, it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna suck up some of this water. When I put my brush down there, it's clean and dry, and when I just touch it to the edge of this paint, it just sucks it right up. And I'm not moving the paintbrush around, just kind of sucking up some of that extra water. This notebook has a tendency to get kind of ripply, and so the water is finding the path of least resistance and pooling in some areas, and I don't necessarily love it. So I am kind of trying to manipulate that just a little bit. Maybe I'm just gonna tip it and see what happens. Give a little help. And there are some dry areas right in here, so I'm just gonna come back in with a clean brush and kind of fill those in really quick, just so there is a path for the orange to go. Having some weird wiggly worms. Okay, this really weird thing over here on the side, don't love that. In fact, I kind of hate it. So let's just get rid of it. It's also doing the same thing over on the other side. Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see here. Look away. We're letting it paint itself. At the top of my paper, I'm noticing that there's this kind of harsh line. I don't love that either, so I'm just tapping a little bit of water in here. Just like we did at the bottom, that paint will attach itself to the water will pull it a little bit and continue to move that paint through it. And because I don't really know what is going on over here, I'm going to be really intentional about what I'm doing. So put some ideas of trees in here that just sort of fade themselves into whatever's going on. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to add water first, and then we're going to draw a few little ideas of trees and have them just kind of blend themselves into the water down below. So I'm going to add this water in here very lightly, because if I move this around too much, it's going to start to pull that color. Okay, and then I want to get some of this green that I had going on. I'm just going to come in here and just kind of do some dabs. Dab, 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 dot, dot, dot. And then once it hits that water, it's really going to start to pull itself. Not painting with strokes or anything like that, but you can see how it just kind of fades itself in down there. Now I can add some more blue just to kind of blend that in and be a little more intentional about where this is going. Just trying to make some suggestions, just dropping color in, letting the watercolor paint itself. I can come in with a clean brush and just kind of soften that edge, add a little bit of water in there, soften it a little bit. Again, not painting and stroking the brush back and forth. Oh my gosh, I said stroking. I say the weirdest things when I'm doing this. So you can see now how that's kind of softened up in there. If I want it to be softer on top, I can also do the same thing there and just kind of dab in there, cleaning off my brush. And I'm just tapping it on this paper towel just to kind of get some of that color off of there, so I'm not moving it around too much. You know, we can create something a little bit darker in here and start to create some of that foreground. If I come in and just kind of come across like this, just kind of being loose with it. If this is water here, what I can do, get a little bit of blue, just kind of come across here very lightly. And you can see that it's already kind of drying lighter than what it looks like going on there. Push lightly and then push heavier, and it creates a thicker ripple. Okay, so that's a fun way to create water ripples, because they tend to be like that versus these really, really straight, thin lines. They have varying weight to them. Definitely getting interesting. If I go in with my ultramarine blue and my burnt sienna and put a few darker strokes in here, maybe not everywhere, just in a few places. I want to put the tops of these trees in here. Put a little bit of water in here. Now I'm going to drop some of this paint in from the top. Just add a little bit more water in here. You can see that water really pushes. That's what happens when you get blooms. So it's pushing the paint, which is totally fine because I'm going for some texture in here. Bumps of trees. Maybe I have some down here. Put some more bushes right down in here. So I'm just going to get that wet. That kind of soften itself right there. I have a little bit of ultramarine blue kind of mixed in over here. Kind of adding that in. Burnt sienna and cadmium orange. And we'll just add a little bit of water in there. This is dry, so I can paint some water over this and very lightly just kind of drop in a little bit of orange, maybe right along this edge over here. Just a little bit, enough to make it believable that there's something going on in the sky and you're seeing it in the water. Look at the granulation in these trees. Now that this is dry, we're going to come in with script liner brush and paint a few small details of the trees in here. You want that brush to come to a nice fine point, and it's not going to hold a lot of paint because it's a small brush. There's not very many bristles in this sucker. So I just kind of, bring some lines up in here as tree trunks, and I'm kind of assuming that there's a lot of trees in here. It'll be darker in the front, lighter towards the back. And we don't want to take tree trunks all the way up as a straight line. You don't see that on a tree. When you think about a tree, and I've talked about this before, the branches come out and they go all around this trunk from the back to the front, the side to the side. It's like a dance move. If you see branches, you'll see a few maybe up in the tops up here, but you're not going to see a whole entire tree trunk going all the way down the tree unless it's a dead tree. A few darker ones towards the front, just to kind of give it some variation. Just a few little dark ones in here. And maybe we have some real dark areas. Playing with it and seeing what I see. I might do that kind of all across here and just kind of defining that so I have some really nice dark values. You can start to go really crazy with this, but we definitely don't want to overthink it or overpaint it. Let's take the tape off. Thank you so much for hanging out today while we painted this magical piece of artwork. I hope to see you the next time that I make stuff.